Morning all of you. So this is Siva Prakash. We are going to discuss about banking theory and practice, Unit-5, paying banker and collecting banker. First of all, what kind of roles, what kind of responsibilities performed by the banker at the bank towards the customers. First one, collecting banker, because banks are nowadays playing a important role in human beings' life. Without bank account, we are not supposed to survive on the surface. Sometimes banker collecting amount from the other persons on behalf of the customer. Sometimes banker paying some amounts on behalf of the customers. So that is the reason banker play a vital role in human beings' life nowadays. First of all, collecting banker. How banker performing while collecting the money from our customers. On behalf of the customer, banker may be collecting amount from the other persons. So here collecting banker, collection of checks is an important function. Collection of checks is an important function performed by the banker to his customer. Suppose if you opened a bank account in a particular organization, a particular bank, so banker may be collecting your money. So banker may be collecting your money from your customers or from your debtors. So that is the reason banker collecting checks is an important function performed by the banker to his customer. When customer receives a check drawn on a bank, the check is sent to the bank for collection from the dry's bank. If you received a check from your customer, you deposit your check in your bank account. On behalf of yourself, banker may be collecting money from your customer's account. So duties and responsibilities of collecting banker. What kind of duties, what kind of responsibilities performed by the banker? So for the benefit of his customer. Exercise due care in collection of checks. So banker must do the exercise before collection of checks, before collecting of checks, or before collection of checks. What kind of exercise they are doing? So all kinds of exercise. What are the formalities? What are the what kind of duties should require to get the money from customer? From suppose account holder, customers. Next, present check for collection in time. Present check for collection in time. Being a account holder, being a customer, is supposed to present your check in time. Maximum time of check is 90 days. 90 days. Within 90 days, you can encash, you can deposit your check into the bank. So otherwise, banker may not be responsible for that. So within that time, you should be send your check to the bank for collection. Then only banker can collect your amount. Notice to customer in case of dishonor of check. So on behalf of the customer, the banker collecting the money from other banks or other branches or other organizations. In case insufficient volume of amount in such account, banker can issue a notice, a dishonor notice. So simply banker as bringing to your notice regarding the check which was sent by you to the bank. So మనం ఏదైతే బ్యాంక్ చెక్ పంపించామో ఆ చెక్ అమౌంట్ బ్యాంకర్ కనుక వేరే బ్యాంకు పంపినప్పుడు లేదా వేరే బ్రాంచ్ పంపినప్పుడు ఆ చెక్ ఇచ్చిన వాళ్ళ అకౌంట్లో కనుక సఫిషియెంట్ వాల్యూమ్ ఆఫ్ అమౌంట్ లేనప్పుడు చెక్ డిజానర్ అయిపోతుంది. సో ఆ డిజానర్ ఇష్యూ అనేది సో బ్యాంకర్ హ్యాస్ టు బ్రింగ్ టు ద కస్టమర్స్ నోటీస్ whether the check, if the check is dishonored, not whether if the check is dishonored, the banker has served the notice to the customer. So simply bringing to the notice of the customer regarding the dishonour of the check. Next one, placing the proceeds to the account of customer. So what are the proceeds? So what are the rules and regulations from the banker? So simply all the rules and regulations followed by the banker while collecting the check amount from the other parties. Next, what kind of protection so having by the banker to protect himself from the obligations? A banker under no legal obligation to collect the checks drawn upon the other banks for a customer, but now a day collection of checks has become an important function of the banker. So banker should collect the amount on behalf of the customer. That is most important. So banker performing the duties and responsibilities. Not one of the major duties of the banker. Two major duties are performed by the banker on behalf of the customer. One is collecting, second one is paying. These two must be performed by the banker for the benefit of the customers. So for that reason, so here banker having some protection. A banker is under no legal obligation to collect the checks drawn upon other banks for customers. So where a bank account gaani where bank lo gaani account ఉన్నప్పుడు so కొంతవరకు banker escape అవడానికి ఛాన్స్ ఉంటుంది, because nowadays the collection of checks has become an important function of a banker. చెక్స్ అనేది కలెక్ట్ చేయడానికి బ్యాంకర్ మెయిన్గా ప్రయారిటీ ఇవ్వాల్సిన అవసరం వచ్చిందన్నమాట. ప్రస్తుతం ఉన్న రోజుల్లో బ్యాంకర్ మస్ట్గా కలెక్ట్ చేయాలి. నెగోషియబుల్ ఇన్స్ట్రుమెంట్ యాక్ట్ ప్రొటెక్ట్స్ ఎ బ్యాంకర్ for wrongfully converted checks which has defective title. If check is not in a proper manner, so banker may be escaping to collect the money so from other banks or other branches. So if I deposit my check in the bank so for collection, so if check is not in a proper way, check is not in a proper format, banker may be simply reject the check. Collecting banker must fulfill the following conditions. Check must be crossed. So check must be crossed. Then only they are creating amount in our account. Two types of checks. One is bearer check. Second one is crossed check. Bearer check, anyone can get the money at counter. So if it is crossed check, amount may not be given physically at cash counter. They may be creating in our account. They should be creating in our account. So they are not giving money directly. So payment must be received on behalf of the customer as agent. The banker must collect the amount on behalf of account holder. In that situation, he may be acting as an agent. Banker received the payment in good faith without negligence. Banker, we are trusting banks. The survival of the banks depends upon the public interest. Once the interest loses the bank, nobody is trusting the bank. So that banker received a payment in good faith without any negligence. Sometimes they may be neglecting some conditions or some rules. They may not follow some rules and regulations. In that situation, if any fault is occurred, the banker is responsible for that. So problem is occurred from the banker's side, they should be taken the responsibility. They should be taken the responsibility without any hesitation. Now we are going to discuss paying banker. Who is paying banker? Usually commercial banks are performing two types of functions. Generally two basic functions performed by the commercial banks. So what are the two basic functions performed by the commercial banks? One is accepting deposit. Already we discussed it. Accepting deposits. The banker must and should accepting the deposits. The banker should accepting the deposits from the account holders or customers. So like savings, it may be savings deposits or recurring deposits or current deposit or fixed deposits. What kind of deposit it is? The banker should accepting the deposits of his customers. That is the first and foremost function. Second one is lending money to the needy people. Bankers are granting loans. Bankers are issuing loans to the needy people. Who needs the loans? They are approaching the bankers. సో ఎవరికైతే లోన్ కావాలో వాళ్ళు జనరల్గా బ్యాంకర్స్ అప్రోచ్ అవుతూ ఉంటారు. ఎందుకు బ్యాంకర్స్ అప్రోచ్ అవుతూ ఉంటారంటే మనీ లెండర్స్ ఆర్ లివింగ్ మోర్ ఛార్జెస్, మనీ లెండర్స్ ఆర్ లివింగ్ మోర్ రేట్ ఆఫ్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్. సో దట్ బ్యాంకర్స్ ఆర్ charging less rate of interest when compared with money lenders or providers. So because bank rules and regulations framed by the organization, bank rules and regulations followed by the customers, so each and every bank framing some kind of rules under the guidance of RBI, under the limitations of RBI. So that is the reason people may be approaching the bank to get the loans. So banker should perform the basic function. The second basic function is lending money to the needy people. So like farmers or entrepreneurs or business, other governments, other corporations. So they are getting loans. They want to get the loans from the bankers. So banker has to perform two basic conditions or two basic functions. Any commercial bank or any bank, either cooperative bank or commercial bank or resident rural banks, whatever bank it is, banker must perform two basic functions. One is accepting deposits. 4 types of deposits are there. Second one is lending money to the needy people. Different kinds of loans, like housing loan, like vehicle loan, like agriculture loan, like mortgage loans, whatever loan it is. But the basic things are accepting deposits and issuing loans. These are the basic commercial bank functions performed by the bankers. Duties of paying banker. What are the duties performed by the paying banker? Proper form. First one is proper form. So the payment should be in a proper form. Then only banker accepting the banker paying the amount. So it may be as per Negotiable Instrument Act. So some of the people may be following checks, some of the people may be following hundis, other forms. So it may be prescribed form. Then only banker should perform the payment. Physical condition of the check, physical condition of the hundi or physical condition of the bill. It should be in a good manner. So not in tear, so not in other forms. So if it is good and physically, then only banker may be accepting for the payment. Crossing. Check should be crossed. Usually some checks 90% or 95% of the check should be crossed by the customers. Then only guarantee for getting money in our account. If check is not crossed, check may be loosed by the customers. So they may be, somebody is taking the check and they are depositing the check at bank counter. They are presenting the check at bank counter for the payment. Banker may be accepting because banker doesn't know who is the check holder. So for that reason, for security reasons, if check is crossed by the check issuer, then only keeping the check, then we can deposit our check in the bank account. They can easily transfer money in our account. Office drawing. Check should be drawing in a proper way. Check should be maintained, or negotiable instrument should be maintained by the drawer in a proper way. So then only they are accepting for the payment. Date of check. So on the check, date is there, date column is there. So you should fill the date column, then banker accepting the check. Date is very important. The life of the check is not more than 90 days. Within 90 days, we can encash the check amount. So that check date is must and should filled by the drawer. Then banker can pay the amount. చెక్ డేట్ కనుక ప్రాపర్గా ఉంటేనే అమౌంట్ పే చేస్తారు. అది కూడా చెక్ మీద ఉన్న డేట్కి 90 డేస్లోగానే ఎన్కాష్మెంట్ జరగాలి. అదర్వైజ్ బ్యాంక్ యాక్సెప్ట్ చేయాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు పేమెంట్ కోసం. time of presentation, usually banking working hours between 10 to 4, now 10 to 4. So 10 to 4, so you can present your check for the payment. So then they will pay, then the banker will pay the amount. So before 10 o'clock, after 4 o'clock, banker may not be accepting for the payment of your check. So that we can present your check within the working hours. Amount should be mentioned on the check properly in terms of figures or in terms of words. If there is any deviation, banker may not be accepting. So if it is correct in terms of words, in terms of figures, then banker accepting the check for the payment. Signature of the drawer. The signature should be there on the check. Then only banker can accepting the check. Banker can tally the signature so on the check and in his bank account. So if signature is tallied, then only banker accepting the check for the payment.